Good evening, I'm Richard Gearhart. Thanks for joining us. You are watching a very special edition of KSBY News on Facebook. For the next 30 minutes or so, we're going to be talking in depth about the Kristen Smart murder trial. We're calling this show Beyond the Headlines because that's what we want to do, take you beyond the daily reporting and the daily headlines to dig deeper into some of the issues surrounding this trial. It's a complex case, more than 26 years in the making, and there's a lot to talk about. First, though, we want to bring you up to speed with what's happened in the courtroom this week. Court was not in session on Monday or Tuesday. Yesterday, testimony resumed with a forensic specialist with the San Luis Obispo County Sheriff's Office. Shelby Liddell helped with the searches that took place at Ruben Flores' home in 2021. Liddell told jurors, investigators, and deputies laid out several grids over the soil beneath the deck of the back of the house. She said they noticed several areas with staining. Now, she talked about the process of taking soil samples from the discolored areas using a special probe and how it was stored in paper bags to help control moisture. Liddell also helped process evidence collected in a cargo trailer parked at the house. The sheriff's office tested the floor for blood. Liddell said it showed a positive reaction. However, the chemical test will also react to some cleaners. During cross-examination, Paul's attorney Robert Sanger questioned Liddell about her credentials. Sanger asked her several questions about the staining in the soil, to which she replied that she doesn't have knowledge or expertise about soil staining and was on site to collect potential evidence detectives identified. You can find out more on what happened in court today on our website, ksby.com. And court is exactly where we are right now. And we just got out of the courtroom not too long ago, and we are joined with our special guest today, Chris Lambert, who created the Your Own Backyard podcast. And so first of all, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day and joining us. Now, for some of our viewers, we haven't interviewed you, I don't think, directly yet for any of our stories. And so some might not know who you are, how you got started. Obviously not many at this point in time. Lots of people paying attention to the podcast. What kind of got you interested in, how did you come up with the idea for the podcast?
It's a case I grew up with. I was 8 when Krista went missing, so it's something that most of my life there's been this billboard of a missing person that I didn't know a lot about. Once I got older, I remember Googling it a lot, trying to figure out why there hadn't been any update. In 2016, when they did that big Cal Poly dig where they brought out the FBI, it was on the news for a few days and then it disappeared again. And I just remember it came up a lot and then it would disappear, and it was kind of a frustrating thing. Around 2018, I had just finished making an album, a singer-songwriter, and that's pretty much what I had been doing with my life up to that point. Put out an album and had like a week break where I had nothing to do, and I read a Los Angeles Times article that had been written all about the case, and I just got sucked in, and I thought, why has nobody made a documentary about this case yet? It's so frustrating that all the answers seem to be right there, but it just never got followed up on. There's so many little pieces here and there that are not reported on, and I thought maybe I should give it a shot and try to make a documentary. I'd never done anything like it before, though.
So, and I mean, it just kind of blew up, right? Like, so many people are listening to this podcast. Why do you think it catches the, sort of interest of so many people? I mean, you're a pretty typical person, who's into this podcast, right? Grew up with the case, and San Luis Obispo County and Santa Barbara County especially are just so interested in what's going on. What is it about the case that draws so much interest?
I think for one, it's a story that they were waiting for somebody to tell. I think what really catches people is just the big question mark. Where is she? Obviously she was here. We know she walked home from this party, and in the first episode I retraced her footsteps, and I thought that she was last seen right here, and you can see the door to her dorm room like 40 yards away. It just doesn't make sense that she disappeared in this distance. How could this have happened? And so wondering where her body ended up, knowing that the last person to walk her home seemed like he was hiding information from the police. He seemed like he was not forthcoming. He wasn't cooperative, and just trying to figure out, like, all the pieces seem to be here, but we don't know where her body ended up, and that's just very frustrating for a lot of people, I think.
So what was your goal with the podcast? To get information about, to actually see justice happening? I mean, what was in your mind when you were putting these episodes together?
I think initially it was just to document what had happened in the case up to that point. When I started in 2018, there had just been a lot of silence for a few years after that Cal Poly dig, and I thought I just want to document what has gone on chronologically. But as I started digging through like newspaper archives and calling people and asking if I could interview them, I thought maybe there's something more that can be done here. Kristen's life story could be told, and I wonder if her family would have any interest in participating with this. Like, if I reached out to them, would they be comfortable with me telling their daughter's story, getting to know who she was before she disappeared, as opposed to just the details of the disappearance? So that's where, like, a lot of my focus went was the first episode needs to really establish who was Kristen Smart as a human being, and then from there it just turned into this big 6-episode project where it's now the arc of who Kristen was from the time she was alive until today, when she's been missing for longer than she was alive.
So then this kind of grew into this whole huge issue. There's lots of stuff going on in the courtroom. Your name gets mentioned all the time in the courtroom. And we're kind of walking around in this era where we don't really know how to classify this, right? Is it podcast? Is it entertainment value? Is it journalism? What's the point behind it? And so, that gets talked about a lot in court too. Now, there's lots of talk about whether you would testify and whether you're not testifying. And so far they haven't called you. Kind of give us some of the background on the issues surrounding that.
Yeah, like from my perspective, it's always been a documentary. That's where I came from. So I feel like I'm in the role that any documentarian would be. I am a journalist, albeit not by trade. I didn't go to school to be a journalist, but I made a journalism project. That's what I put together. And so there was some issue when the prelim came up about, am I going to be credentialed as a media person, or do I have to go in as a public person, which would have been my preference. And when they designated me media, then this gag order kicks into effect where I'm suddenly not allowed to speak to anybody in the sheriff's department, anybody in the Smart family, anybody connected with the case in any way, because now I'm media and they're party to the case. And so it's been sort of a difficult, it's like kind of like walking a tightrope. Like I'm trying to follow the case, but there's only a few people I can talk to about it.
Yeah, and it's kind of like this tightrope situation too, because being designated as media also gives you some protections against having to testify, right? Because we have that California shield law, for instance. And so, one of the questions I've never asked you yet, and we're obviously sitting in the courtroom quite a bit together, is, do you have a desire? Do you want to testify, or do you not want to testify?
That's really tough because I didn't see that coming up. Obviously, that was not something I was prepared for. But when I was subpoenaed during the preliminary hearing, I had no objection to taking the stand. But it was the subpoena ducis tecum that came with that, which was, we want all of your emails, all of your text messages, every communication you've ever had. We want all your raw, unedited interviews. And it just felt very invasive. And I called an attorney and said, is this legal? Can they do this? And that's where I learned about shield law and all of the First Amendment rights that are afforded to journalists, and had to kind of embrace that. Like, yeah, this is violating a lot of the privacy of a lot of people who opened up to me and had conversations about very traumatic things that happened regarding Paul Flores and interactions they had with him. And I thought, I'm not willing to turn that kind of stuff over, so I'm going to try to go about this the legal way, but if it comes down to it, I'm just not turning these things over. I'm not going to do that. And so it was quashed at the prelim, and then it came up again at trial. So I've been subpoenaed twice now, and with the same outcome. Yeah,
and there's kind of multiple sides to this coin, right? Because the other thing is, if you were a witness, then you wouldn't be allowed to sit in the courtroom and listen to other witness testimony, and so that would kind of put a kibosh on future episodes.
Right.
And so you have been sitting in there. What's been your reaction so far to court?
It's my first time. I've never sat through a trial before, so a lot of it is just learning for me. And now we've been doing it for so long, it feels like we sort of get the routine. You recognize faces. We know the jurors. Like, we just recognize everyone now. And so it's been overwhelming. And I told somebody that the other day, and they said, what's overwhelming about it? And I just couldn't even articulate it anymore. It's like, I think I'm just emotionally exhausted. It's a very personal case for me at this point, because I did grow close to the family when I was interviewing them. I did grow close to a lot of the people who are now witnesses that at the time were just people sharing their stories. And so it's a very difficult thing when they call up somebody's name and I think, oh, I used to have a relationship with this person, and now because of the gag order, I haven't spoken to them in a year, and it's been sort of difficult to be in that position.
I want to talk about this next kind of issue in two different ways. So your name does come up a lot. Like, even today, your name was mentioned multiple times, many times in the trial. So one is, back to that testifying kind of an issue. Does it make you want to actually be able to sort of respond in some way? Like nobody, we're not hearing from you, we're hearing all about you and what everybody has said about you.
That has been the very difficult part, is especially with testimony like today's, there's things that get said that I want to defend, and I want to say that's not what happened. And that's the other side of the coin in not testifying, is that I can't defend myself. And so I've also been trying not to editorialize too much with the updates I put out. I try to just be factual about what I saw in the courtroom and what this could mean. And I don't really want to step in and say, this part is not true, this did not happen. This witness said this, but they're incorrect about when that occurred. And I don't want to do that while the trial's ongoing, because I don't want to step on the prosecution's toes and get in the way of what's going on. So I'm sort of waiting for the trial to wrap up before I can clarify some of those issues. I feel like that's a better way to take than taking the stand when really I'm just going to be rigorously cross-examined
Right.
about every interaction I've had with anyone in the course of making a documentary about the case.
It seems to me, and this might be speculation on my part, but a lot of the defense sort of rests on you, right? I mean, like using your name. There's been a lot of talk, and back to you defending yourself. I mean, there's been a lot of talk that the sheriff's department was using you to get information out and to sort of lure other witnesses in. What's it like to actually sit there in court and listen to your name said over and over?
Bizarre at first, and then kind of getting numb to it. But I think, luckily, my name is only brought up in the context of this entire defense, which is that Paul has been a victim of intense publicity from the start, which, if you reported the news over the years, you follow the news over the years, you know that Kristen's name was not a constant fixture of the nightly news. Paul's face especially was not. It was something that would pop up every now and then,
right.
But it didn't stay in the news, and the billboard certainly, I don't think, tainted people's memories about what they witnessed. So my name is coming up in the context of this argument that there was just massive media publicity, media firestorm for 26 years, and the jurors really don't know that that's not true. And so pointing to my podcast is a way to say, well, this podcast was certainly a big deal. Everyone here has listened to it. Everybody knew about it. And so it's just, I understand why they're using it, because it's something to say, well, the only reason all of these people have said such consistent things about my client is because they were influenced by this podcast they listened to.
And honestly, this is a really strange, I've sat through other trials, and we're kind of in a unique situation, sort of parallel, right? So I have been at KSBY for the entire time this story has been going on, was a student at Cal Poly before that, so very familiar with the university, very familiar with what's going on with the case, and you're right, it's been sort of in the news, out of the news, in the news, out of the news. And so, there's this kind of personal connection to it, but you have a personal connection in a much different way, right? Like, you've talked to all these people that are witnesses now. What's it like to sort of talk to them, have interviewed them, and then see them on the witness stand?
It varies depending on who the witness was, but like, as I said, they're people who I tend to develop a rapport with. I think that was maybe the strength of when I started working on the podcast, was realizing I think that I've really developed a knack for human connection. I like people. I'm not intimidating. I'm not trying to get anything out of them. I'm really just this guy who's here, who's like, I'm interested in telling this story. Would you like to share what you recall? And so people warmed up to me, and they stayed in touch with me. We talked about things besides the case. We grew to develop personal connections just in life. But then when the gag order kicked in, then all of these people I suddenly am not able to speak to anymore. So a lot of them, when they've taken the stand in the trial, it's been like, wow, there's that person who I haven't seen since the preliminary hearing. I'm proud of a lot of them. I feel like a lot of them have been very strong and very insistent that they remember what they remember. And yeah, it has been strange, though. I'm looking forward again to being able to reconnect with those people later. It's
really interesting to hear the testimony and also kind of the cross-examination, because there's this sort of ploy, at least in my interpretation of it, to sort of say, oh, well, do you really remember? Well, I mean, but people can't really remember a lot from 26 years ago, right?
Right.
And so, do you think that your conversations with them, I mean, that was an accusation that was brought out in court today, right? That they were somehow tainted by your interviews or your discussion of the case with them. Do you think there's any truth to that, or do you think that they are really remembering what happened?
In my experience, the people I spoke to were very insistent and very consistent about the way that they told the stories they remember. Today's witness was one in particular that had never come forward before. She had shared this tip with a roommate, and he submitted it anonymously. She didn't even know about it until he contacted her about talking to me. And everything she said on the stand today was everything she said to me back when we spoke. But the sort of implication by the defense has been, well, you peppered this story with details given to you by the podcaster, which is not true. But it's something that you're able to obscure for the jury who doesn't know the details, to just bring it up in front of them. Well, maybe perhaps this happened. He's obfuscated the timeline of when certain information was given to me in context to when she reported her information. Months off. I mean, they're completely separate issues. And so it's, again, something, like I said, I'm looking forward to clearing up in detail when I can, going through it.
Yeah. But you're right, you have to clear it up via the podcast, right? You're not going to be able to clear it up in court necessarily.
Right, probably.
In terms of again, this case and what you said about the family, right? So you have had this kind of connection to them. It is a little awkward, I have to say, in court. It's getting less awkward with time, but it's awkward to sort of know all these people, right? And have had conversations with these people, and certainly I've had conversations with the attorneys before, and then to not be able to talk to them. It's like
Right.
we're all standing around in the hallway.
Yeah.
You know, how much time did you spend with the Smart family before the court hearings?
I don't know. It's difficult to quantify. They were coming down to San Luis Obispo quite a bit after the podcast aired, because suddenly the sheriff's department was having meetings with them and sharing new information with them, and things were starting to develop. And so when they would visit, we'd have coffee, we'd catch up about life, and we didn't really talk about the case as much. It's a thing that developed into this personal relationship of these are friends of mine, these are people that I know. And so yeah, we spent quite a bit of time together before that. And like you said, now in the courtroom, there's almost like this pressure to not even make eye contact, don't even acknowledge their existence, which is very strange, I think, for both of us.
Yeah. When you started this podcast, what did you think was going to happen? I mean, certainly you couldn't have predicted this, right?
No, nothing like this. I thought best case scenario is I document this missing person case that it seems as though we can sort of see what happened here. It seems like when everything is laid out chronologically, there's enough of an outline where it's like you don't have to guess really who's responsible or how it happened, because there's just so much circumstantial evidence, as we've seen. That's why the trial is lasting so long, because there's no smoking gun in this case. And so I just thought I'll lay it out chronologically and see if it can just act as a document about this missing girl and the investigation. I thought it would get maybe a small local following, that maybe people in San Luis Obispo County might pay attention to it, but I never expected it to go to court. I never expected there to be arrests. I never expected it to lead to anything. But certainly the top goal for me was, I hope that in airing this, somebody will come forward and share that they've been holding this information and they're going to reveal where Kristen's remains are, and that finding Kristen.
So back to this idea between this kind of juxtaposition between documentarian journalism, whatever. People have sort of levied this charge, like you want to see justice done, or that you want Paul to pay for it. Is that something that you've thought about? I mean, do you have a goal in mind in terms of that or not?
Yeah, that's something I had never even considered until it started getting thrown at me that this podcast was focused on convicting Paul Flores. And I thought, well, I didn't even think the sheriff's department was taking it seriously at first. When I was first starting to tell the story, I thought something fishy is going on here. Like, there's evidence going missing. There's lead investigators that are just like dropping the ball over and over. It just didn't make sense to me. And my initial thought was some strings are being pulled behind the scenes here. Once I actually got to sit down with them and interview them, I realized none of that was true. That like the investigators working on it were very intent on getting something to happen, and obviously their focus is a conviction. My focus has always been on finding Kristen, and if Paul or his family know where she's at, I would hope that they would reveal it. And for me, that comes above all. I would almost rather see a plea bargain of some kind, where if he is going to be convicted or believes he's going to be convicted, that they maybe just stop wasting time and just confess to where she's at.
What has been your reaction to kind of the pressure that I'm assuming you feel, right? I'm kind of putting words in your mouth, but I mean, is it scary? Is it intimidating? Is it exhilarating to have this much attention and have, like, really the podcast is steering the case to a certain extent. You can't argue that it isn't.
Yeah. I would say the attention is certainly the least of my desires. Like, I'm a very private person. I'm a very shy person naturally. I'd prefer to never have to talk about it again. Like, I think it's just that I've gotten in this role where I have an encyclopedic knowledge of the timeline. I mean, when they're bringing up certain events in court and they say a date wrong, I immediately know that was June 19th, not June 20th. Like, I have a memory of those sorts of things, and so I feel a little bit of responsibility for like being the one to tell this story. People have offered like book deals and things like that I've turned down, but I've thought somewhere down the road it maybe feels right that somebody who's become so invested and so involved in the case does tell this story in a way that's sensitive and in a way that's appropriate, as opposed to just somebody swooping in for a cash grab of some kind.
And before we have plenty of time, before we run out of time, I want to kind of pose these two questions to you before I forget. One is, what do you want to see happen as the outcome of this trial? And then number two is, what do you expect to see happen as the outcome of this trial?
That's really tough to say. Like I said, what I want to see happen is I want to see Kristen's remains recovered. Wherever Kristen is, I hope that whether it's through investigation that they discover where she is, or that through some sort of plea bargain that we're told where she is. However that comes about, I would just like to see Kristen returned to her family. I think ultimately that's the real resolution here. Seeing a conviction of any sort, it's not really... It's not even really on my mind. It's just like, is that when this trial wraps up, will we find out where Kristen is? I cannot even predict what's going to happen. I'm sort of basing all of my information off of what I'm seeing presented. I'm certainly not impartial in this case, and that's something that's been asked of me. Are you an impartial reporter? Well, how can I be when I'm part of the defense? How could I possibly be impartial when one side is saying all these things that I know are not true about me, and the other side is not going there? It's tough. I'm reporting what I see in the courtroom, and obviously there's an outcome that I would like to see, but that outcome is focused solely on Kristen being returned to her family.
And there's been some mention too. I mean, I think that the media in general is taking a hit, and I don't think, I mean, in all fairness, you've never claimed to be, a news media type journalist with this information,
Right.
but we hear a lot about infotainment and stuff like this. The attorneys are sort of leveling these charges about the media in general taking credit, and I don't necessarily think that, that's what's behind any of the reporting, including the podcast.
Right, yeah, I haven't seen that in all of the media people that are reporting. I know some people here collecting information for a future episode of TV shows that are not reporting daily, and then you've got people like me and yourself and the Slow Tribune who are doing sort of daily updates on what we've seen in the courtroom. Obviously mine, once I go home, I spend the weekend recording like an hour-long recap of everything I saw that week, and so mine are more focused on, here's like all the testimony, like if you would have been in the courtroom, this is as close to a transcript as I can get to you. And like I said, I'm not editorializing much because I'm sort of saving all of my thoughts for once this is wrapped up.
And will you give listeners your thoughts once it's wrapped up? Will you say what you think?
I believe so, but it's really hard to say, like without knowing what the outcome will be. I think regardless, once there is some sort of resolution that I'm going to need a break, I'm going to need to go back to what my normal life used to be, quiet for a while. And then I know that typically when I insist on taking a break, at some point I get the itch to start working on a project again. And so I would like to tell this story in a more complete fashion and share some of my insights into, things like the testimony we heard today. I have a very detailed timeline of how these interactions went down that I would love to share with people who are interested and sort of clarify some of the misconceptions, but it's going to take a while, so it's something I will wait for.
And honestly, as you well know through your own investigation, if you're listening in court, there's not a lot of evidence either way. Like, not only is there no body, there's no smoking gun, but there's really nothing that sort of implicates Paul necessarily, and there's nothing that really clears him either.
Right, yeah. My sort of take on that in laying out the podcast was, well, we know he's the last person seen with her. There's no, he doesn't even deny that portion of it. We know that she doesn't make it back to her room, and there's very little distance. My sort of take on it has rested on, what are the odds that something else happened here? What are the odds that she was either abducted in that small space and that Paul didn't hear any sort of struggle or screaming or noise, he didn't witness it, or that she chose to just sort of drop off the face of the earth, as has been raised a few times. Well, maybe she went to be a model. Maybe she moved to Hawaii. Well, she stayed out of touch with her family for 26 years. You would think at some point she would grow out of that 19-year-old thought that I hate my life, I hate Cal Poly, I'm just going to disappear forever. At some point you would think she would get over that. And so obviously those two things are so unlikely to me. The cadaver dogs alerting where they did, and not only one, but 2, 3, 4 cadaver dogs alerting on the same area of the mattress in that room of the last person seen with her, the injuries he has on his face, the fact that he tells 3 or 4 different stories about the injuries and then admits to investigators, yes, I lied about that, but it wasn't important, it was just a little white lie. There's so many things that start to stack up that you go, well, you explain to me what happened here then. And I don't know how that can be presented in the court, because there's a legal way of doing that, but my take has been, if you can come up with a better explanation, then by all means do, but I cannot think of something that makes more sense.
But as you well know, sitting through the sometimes painful length of some of the testimony, they can't really do that in court, right? Because there has to be this beyond any reasonable doubt, and that's really what the defense has been all about, right? Is establishing doubt, and it's pretty easy to establish doubt.
Sure.
So is it frustrating to you to sort of sit here and see this process play out within the confines and the rules of the court system?
I think the most frustrating part for me has been trying to answer listener questions about why don't they present this or why don't they present this, because you have to have a witness on the stand and you have to get the witness to give it, that information has to come out through a witness or through a closing argument of some kind, but you can't just throw anything out there.
Yeah.
That is frustrating, but the concept of reasonable doubt to me is, it's not a daunting one in this case, because I think, as I said, you lay out all the, I just went through 3 or 4 things, but there's 20, 30 things in this case that if I were to lay them out, then I would think at a certain point it becomes not reasonable to doubt at this point. You know what I mean? There is doubt, and as the judge explained to the jurors, there's a difference between some doubt and reasonable doubt. So we all have some doubt about certain things, but reasonable doubt, at a certain point, it crosses a line. When you have this many people saying, I saw Paul talking to Kristen, I saw Paul touching Kristen, I saw Paul interacting with Kristen, and he tells the investigators that didn't happen. How many witnesses do they have to get on the stand to refute that before you go, okay, well, he lied about that portion. He lied about how he got the injury. It's just all these lies. What is reasonable to believe? Why is he making this stuff up?
I kind of want to get your reaction to how the family is handling it, because it is like, I mean, you just mentioned all these frustrations about listening to the witness testimony, and at times Denise Smart, Kristen's mom, leaves the courtroom sort of visibly irritated, not necessarily like upset or devastated because she's lived through this so long, but just sort of irritated at the process. At least that's my take. What's your reaction to that?
I mean, from knowing Denise, I think it's just emotionally overwhelming, and the types of things that are getting brought up, especially through cross-examination, sometimes, like, I wish I could leave the courtroom too. It's just like, how many hours are we going to spend on this hole, which they've already said did not turn up any evidence? How long are we going to talk about that hole before people start falling asleep and going, can we get back to the point of like where the actual evidence was found and refuting that? Why are we talking about things that don't matter? There are things like that, and then obviously there were things last week that were just upsetting. That seeing the shape of the hole in the ground through the ground penetrating radar data, seeing the staining in the soil, at a certain point it gets overwhelming, I think. If I were one of the Smart family, I think I would probably spend most of my time sitting outside the courtroom as well. I don't know that I could sit through this.
Yeah, and the way that the court is set up, because of the limited space in there and the 2 juries being in there, we should explain to our viewers that there's a separate room that's an overflow room, because only a certain number of reporters and only a certain number of the public or the family members can be in there. So when she leaves the courtroom, she's not while watching the testimony. She's just moving to a different room and watching it outside of the...
And I still haven't been to the overflow room, so I haven't gotten to see that. I haven't seen Denise in there, and I also don't really know what the layout of the overflow room looks like. But from what I've heard, it's a lot more relaxed.
And you can chat a little bit.
So maybe it's just less pressure. I also believe that just the sheer emotion of sitting behind the 2 people that in your heart you believe know the location of your daughter's body, after a while just watching the back of their head for hours at a time not reacting to testimony can get pretty upsetting. I just imagine that in itself would make me want to leave.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's obviously important to point out and that people know that whether you're a parent or just any person, that just the not knowing has got to be and has been driving her crazy. And she's mentioned that several times, right? That's what she really wants to know, is where her daughter is, what happened to her.
Right, and like as we said, another reason that there was so much focus on Paul in particular all these years is because, as the prosecution pointed out, he wasn't out there putting up missing person posters. He wasn't out there digging and helping in the search parties. This was the last person seen with her daughter, but then he also was not helpful in any way whatsoever. I've always thought it's very odd to me that the Flores family at no point in 26 years decided we've had enough of this. Why don't we just sit down and mediate this? Why don't we just sit in the living room and you can ask Paul everything you want to know? We'll sit by to make sure he's protected and nothing goes too far, but what do you want to know that would make you feel better and take the focus off of him? And that was never offered to them. In fact, what we saw happen instead is that they stuffed those letters into a drawer and kept them for 26 years. So it's just, so many of those things are so unexplainable to me in any other situation, except that they have information they're not sharing.
Yeah. And unfortunately, we are out of time, but I would love for you to come back on again in the future. We do this once a week in a future episode, because I know that our viewers have tons and tons of questions for you. Everybody wants to know your sort of take on it. And so we haven't been able to answer, because we're up here in Salinas in the courtroom, we haven't been able to answer viewer questions, but they always post them for us either on email or Facebook, social media. So again, thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to talking to you again in the future.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. For the rest of you, thank you for joining us for this special broadcast as well. And again, of course, thanks to my special guest, Chris Lambert of the Your Own Backyard podcast. We do plan to bring you these Facebook Live shows throughout the entire length of the trial. And remember, make sure you add any questions that you have, just like we talked about, to our Facebook post, or you can send them to us by email as well. We look forward to you joining us for future episodes. And of course, you can find all of the information you need and all of the coverage of this case on ksby.com. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you next time.